What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to talk about Deandre Hopkins, kind of do like a little bit of a deep dive and see how he can potentially do the rest of the season. This is following week 5, where he went 8 receptions for 140 yards. Unfortunately, didn't get into the end zone, but was super productive, super involved in the offense, looked like his old self. So I'm like, yo, let me do a little deep dive. Let me check out kind of the stats behind his performances and see whether his arrow is trending up, down, or whatever. He was a buy low candidate for me 2 weeks ago in one of my videos. You guys can check it out on my channel. And it seems to be paying dividends. Seems to be a good call, right? I think it's really paying off for a lot of people who went after him. Unfortunately, in week 4, didn't really do too much. Although we thought he could have in a if it was a better game script, if they were maybe losing the game, they kind of blew out the Bengals, so they didn't really need him. But dude, let's hop into the stats. So, kind of at a glance, as you could see, his production hasn't actually been too bad, right? So he hasn't really killed you. He hasn't really won you any weeks, obviously, but he hasn't given you any fucking goose eggs the way Drake London's bum ass did. Or it's not even Drake London being a bum. It's really the Atlanta offense. It's the play calling. Could be a little bit of Desmond Ridder as well. But anyway, DeAndre Hopkins, let's have a look, man. So when I compare him to Ryan Tannehill has kind of not really been throwing the ball very much, and he hasn't really been throwing it very well. However, he's serviceable. He's a game manager at this stage of his career. He's 35 years old. He's never really had a rocket arm, but he's been like a serviceable game manager type quarterback. And last week, we'll just look at week 5 specifically. 35 pass attempts, 23 completions. Of those 23 completions, 8 of them went to DeAndre Hopkins. That's a solid target share. So of 34 attempts, Hopkins had 11 targets, which is right around 33% or so. I'm not a mathematician. I don't do public math. But yeah, so he's very involved in the offense. So when they do pass the ball to their wideouts, he tends to get a lot of those targets. Moving on. Next thing that I really want to show you guys. This is the Fantasy Pro strength of schedule and rest of season rankings. So basically, DeAndre Hopkins is only ranked as like the 31st wide receiver rest of season. It's a little bit unfortunate. It's not really what you want to see in your wide receivers. Like the more names you have in that top 10, it feels real nice as a fantasy owner. But something of note that really interested me is that in this column here, you have strength of schedule for the season, right? So you have the playoff strength of schedule, meaning how good are those matchups for that player, and then you have the season. And looking down the list, a lot of these wide receivers, 3-star, you got a couple of 4-stars here with Chase and Adams, another 4-star with DJ Moore, CeeDee Lamb. And then as you scroll further down, you see DeAndre Hopkins has a nice 4-star strength of schedule for season and 4-star for playoffs. That's good news, dude. That's something that I really like to see. DeAndre Hopkins is kind of plummeting down this rest of season rankings list. However, I will say this was updated on the 10th. And after last week, I don't see why he went down 9 spots. I imagine if they update this again this week, he might move up. Moving along, something that I find interesting just at a glance is that his 2023 weekly PFF offensive grades. So every week, PFF gives them a grade of how well they did. He is on the incline. I was about to say decline. Incline. So week 1, 64.6, didn't really do very well. Then 66, 72, 78, and then 84 last week. As you guys know, he beasted and feasted against the Colts. So, dude, that's a trend that I like to see, right? If PFF is grading him better every week, that's nice, right? And then looking at kind of like a little bit more of a breakdown of those stats. So as you see here, his total offensive grades are going up. His receiving grades are going up, which is really what makes up the bulk of that offensive grade. But something that's very interesting to me is that in weeks 1 and 2, they played him 38 and 34% from the slot. And it went to 14%, 20, and then only 10% from the slot last week. Or it's only 4 snaps from the slot. The rest of his snaps, dude, almost all of them came out wide. 32 snaps out wide, which was 86% of his snaps, up from, it's basically been ascending every week. So the Titans have basically, as DeAndre Hopkins has gotten healthier, they're playing him out wide a lot more, which is what you want to see in your wide receivers, especially from a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, who can win down the field. He's just a, contested catch, absolute magician. He's a beast. And that's what you want to see, dude. I think his yards per route run are increasing. His ADOT is kind of, it's obviously increasing. So he had 19 in week 4, but it's, 16 in week 2 because he had more catches. So obviously that number should regress a little bit. He's getting like deep bombs, 36-yard deep bomb, his longest catch of the game. That's what you want to see, man. You want to see a player with, a 90 grade in terms of deep throws. He catches anything that comes deep, catches anything in the medium route range, and he's not 76 rating on short yardage. So the Titans have realized, all right, this dude's a downfield threat. Why are we using him in the slot? Why are we using him as a possession receiver? This makes no sense. He needs to be our big play guy. And that's what you want to see. That's what I love out of DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's still a fucking buy low, dude. I traded Drake London for him. That's why I went on that mini tangent about Drake London. And Drake London, although he also remains involved in the offense, whenever the Falcons do throw, they tend to throw to Drake London. I don't see that changing so much. I don't see them suddenly becoming a pass-first offense. So if you can package together guys kind of in this same range, right? So like, just looking at this list, if you can take Gabe Davis, turn him into DeAndre Hopkins, I would personally make that trade because I think Gabe Davis is really relying on touchdowns at the moment. And DeAndre Hopkins is kind of the opposite. He's not getting any touchdowns, but he's still kind of like pacing Gabe Davis, right? Not really pacing. Obviously, Gabe Davis is ranked higher on the season because he's more touchdowns and he kind of has been popping off every week since week 2. So yeah, if you can take a guy like Drake London, obviously, like Gabe Davis, Jerry Jeudy, Tyler Lockett. I would trade any of those guys for DeAndre Hopkins ASAP. I would trade Pickens for DeAndre Hopkins, personally, because I do know Deontay Johnson is coming back. I'd maybe even trade Nico Collins for DeAndre Hopkins, but that one's a little bit more risky just because the Texans' offense is very pass happy. But yeah, those are my thoughts on DeAndre Hopkins. I think rest of the season rankings have him way too low. I would have him in like the top 24 at least. I'd have him above Zay Flowers. 100%. Above Christian Watson, 100%. Those are my thoughts. I would even move him above Devontae Smith just because we know DeAndre Hopkins is the bona fide one there. Those are my thoughts, man. Let me know what you guys think, dude. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if any of these stats are a little eye-opening. Let me know if you have some pending trades involving DeAndre Hopkins if you need help with. Let me know what they are. Let me know if you have a trade that you have in mind that you want to send out that includes Hopkins, whether it's trading him away or trading for him. Let me know. Hit me in the comments. Give me a sub, dude, if you like this video, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next video, man. Peace.